Okay, so class, are you ready for the new chapter? Chapter 7. Are you ready?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, jom. So this is chapter 2. Chapter 2 pula dah. Chapter 7. Tersasul. Okay, so this is chapter 7. Chapter 7 is about functions. Okay. Mana pergi? Tak nampak Sekejap ya. Okay. Okay, so again, this is chapter 7, which is function. Okay, at the end of the chapter, you will understand the concept of function and you will be able to code a program using functions technique. Okay. Before we go further, we take a look about on the introduction to functions. Okay. Okay, function is actually a block of organized reusable code that is used to perform a single and related action. Okay. So why we need to know about the function? Because it will help you to manage the complexity of your coding. Okay. Before this, you do coding in one program. Okay. So now actually what you can do is you can chunk or you can separate certain part in your coding into a function. Okay. So that you can have a smaller blocks of code. And why it is help in manage the complexity. It will be easier to read the code. Okay. And then function also encourages the reuse of code, okay, within a particular program or across different program. So when you have function, you can reuse that function in any particular program or across different program. Okay. And then function also allows independent development of code. Okay. Okay, this is example. This is example of function. You have main function and you have function get data, function process data, function show result, and function pause. Okay, pause. Before this, in one coding, in one programming, you do all this whole process inside one program. Okay, you have get data here. You ask user to enter input. You process the data. For example, you want to add to what value, etc., and then you show the result of that process. And then you have the pause here. You ask user, do you want to continue or not, etc. Okay, so this is inside one program. Okay, so based on this one program, actually you can divide it into a few functions. Okay, so that's the meaning of function. Okay, so there are two types of function. First is built-in. Second is user-defined. Built-in is functions that already have in Python. Okay. For example, print, input, eval, integer. What else? The function that already have in Python. Can you give me example? What are the functions that you always use in your coding?
If and else.
Sorry?
If else.
Yes, if else. What else? Cepat kelas. Apa ni? What else?
Round.
Yes, round. Okay, what else? There are many more. Okay, there are many more. So basically, the functions that already have in the Python, we call it as a built-in function. Okay. Next is user-defined function. Okay. So here, what we will do is user-defined function. User-defined function means that the function that can be customized. Okay, you can create your own function. Okay. Okay. So in order for you to create your own function or user-defined function, you need to follow certain rules. The rules is function blocks begin with keyword DEF. DEF means define. Okay. Define. Okay. And then followed by the function name. What is your function name? And followed by parentheses. In this parentheses, you will put your variable, etc. Okay, parentheses ni dia terlebih. There are extra apa bracket here. Okay, so basically like this lah. Okay. Okay, for example, this one, you want to create a function. The function name is welcome underscore message. So first step is you must define this function. How to define it? The first one is you have to start with keyword DEF. Okay, here DEF space followed by your function name welcome underscore message, and then followed by the parameter. Here you have the parentheses and you put your parameter inside here. Let's say in this case your parameter is name and course name. Okay, the fourth step is you must have function block. Okay, function block start with semicolon. Okay, so you put here semicolon. Okay, so means that after you put this semicolon, your function block will be started when you enter. Okay, so when you enter, it will automatically indented. Okay, so any statements here, the fifth step, any statements inside this function must be indented. Okay, okay, and then the last step is you must have output from that function. So this output must be written. So that's why you put the keyword written inside your function body. Okay, or function block. Okay, okay class, understand so far?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, good. Okay, next. Okay, once you already define, you have defined your function, you need to call it. Okay, function without calling is nothing. Okay, so we must call it in order for that function to be functioning. Okay, to be function. Okay, so you have to call that function. To call that function, there are two types of ways to call the function. The first type is without parameter. The second type is with parameter. Without parameter means that you directly call the function name. And then with parameter means you call that function by object reference. Means that you will pass the parameter value to the function. Okay. Dia, based on the analogy, it is like this. You want to call your friend. Okay. For let's say Amin want to call Ahmad. Okay. Amin want to call without parameter. So Amin just call by phone. Okay. And then Ahmad will respond. Okay. So that one is without parameter. However, let's say Amin want to call Ahmad by using WhatsApp. So what will happen is Amin need to send a message. Okay. Send a message through WhatsApp. Let's say Assalamualaikum Ahmad. So that one Assalamualaikum Ahmad will be a parameter. Okay. So Assalamualaikum Ahmad will be sent to Ahmad. So Ahmad will respond to that message. Okay. Understand? That's the difference between without parameter and with parameter. Understand guys?
Boleh, doctor. Yes, doctor.
Okay, so basically, before we go further, this is user-defined function. Okay, saya buat short form macam ni lah. User-defined function. There are, sorry. Okay, basically, this is function. Okay, there are two types of function, which is built-in and user-defined function. Okay. Inside user-defined function, after you define the function, you need to call it. Okay. So in order for you to call it, there are two ways, with parameter or without parameter. Okay. Okay, class. Can we proceed?
Can, Doctor.
Okay.
Can, Doctor.
Okay, so this is example of without parameter, calling without parameter. Let's say you have function name is welcome underscore message, and there is no parameter here. So you will define this parameter. First, you put a keyword def space welcome underscore message and parenthesis followed by semicolon. Inside this function block, you have print welcome to class of BCI 1103, and then you return the output from this function. Okay, so when you want to call this function, you will directly call that function name, welcome underscore message. Okay, so this is the call function without parameter. So your output will be welcome to class of BCI 1103. Okay, so now this is with parameter. Let's say you have your welcome message, and your welcome message has two parameters, which is name and course name. So you define it like this, def space welcome underscore message parenthesis and parameter name and course name semicolon. Inside the function inside the function blocks, you have these two statements. First, hello, and you will print the value from name, welcome to class of BCI 1103, and you will print also your course name is the value inside the course name, and then you will return the output from this function. Okay, so when you want to call that function, you put the name here, you put the function name here, welcome underscore message, and you need to pass the parameter value here. Okay, so you know that the first parameter is name, so you pass Fiona. The second parameter is course name, so you pass computer programming. So when you debug, it will have like this. So the output from this function will be hello Fiona, welcome to class of BCI 1103. Your course name is computer programming. Why? Because Fiona will be passed to this parameter name. Computer programming will be passed to the course name. So when you do this print hello Fiona, welcome to class of BCI 1103. Your course name is computer programming. Okay? Understand guys? Kita debug. Boleh? Let's debug. Okay? Okay. Okay, this one. Okay, this one, okay? This one. Let's debug. Okay, so now we have the function here, welcome message. Okay, when you call the function, welcome underscore message, you will pass parameter value Fiona and computer programming. Okay, when it go to the welcome message, it will print hello Fiona, welcome to class of BCI 1103. And then it will print out your course name is computer programming. And then it will return the output from this function. The output is this one lah. Okay? Okay. Okay class, understand? Understand, guys?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Let's say now I put here, I will pass the first parameter is computer and the second parameter is Fahmi. What will happen? What is the output if I pass these two value when I call this function? What will happen? Class, what is the output? Somebody answer? Can someone answer? Hello?
Hello computer,
Uh-huh.
welcome to class of BC something something. Your
Mhm.
course name is Fahmi.
Betul. Okay. Because this value will be passed to name, this value will be passed to course name. So what I want to show here is you must be careful with your passing parameter value because it will go to the parameter name, parameter variable accordingly. Okay. Computer here, Fahmi go to here. Okay. Dia tak tahu. This Fahmi should be name. Computer should be course name. Okay. For compiler didn't know that one. Okay. Compiler only know that this one belongs to this one. This one belongs to this one. Okay. Okay, class? Faham? So you have to be careful. Okay. Okay, class?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, man.
Okay. Next. What is the next? Okay. Okay, now we have another example. If you still remember this coding that we want to calculate the total value from value 1 plus value 2. Okay. Now, instead of this total is calculated in this coding, we want to create a function. Okay. We want to take out this process and put in one function. So our function name is calculate underscore value. Okay. So what we're going to do is first we need to define that calculate underscore value. So we have def space calculate underscore value, and then how many parameter or how many value that this total need to have their total. Berapa? How many value? How many value, class? To calculate this total?
2.
2. Okay. So that's why in this case, when we define our calculate value function, we have two parameter here. So I name my parameter as number 1 and number 2. Okay. Followed by semicolon. And then I put my formula here. My formula is total equal to value 1 plus value 2. So inside my function, I have total equal to number 1 plus number 2. Okay. And then I will return the output. What is the output from this function? The output from this function is total. So that's why I return here, return total. Okay. So the first step done. We already defined our function. Okay, we go to our original coding. Okay, in our original coding, after we ask user to enter first value and second value, we will calculate the total. So now here, instead of we automatically calculate total here, we call this function. So here we call this function. The second step is we call the function calculate underscore value. So here we will pass the parameter because we know that inside this total, they need value for number 1 and they need value for number 2. So here, when we call calculate underscore value, we need to call that function by passing the parameter of val1 and val2 come from here. Okay. Okay. So while 1, when you call this calculate value, while 1 will go to number 1, while 2 we go to number 2. Okay. Okay class, understand? Boleh?
Boleh.
Okay.
Boleh.
Jom kita debug. Sekejap. And then we have this one. Mana ni? Sekejap Okay, this one. Okay, so yang ni tak ada lagi. Kita tutup dulu. Saya tak tunjuk lagi yang ni. Close this one. Okay. Close this one. Okay. So now we have, okay, this one. Okay. So if we debug, what will happen is, kenapa ni? Tak boleh stop pula. Okay. Now we debug. Okay. So we have our function definition here. Okay, so this one is the same thing as previous example. Let's say I want to calculate one total only. So now we go to the while. Okay, and then we ask user to enter the first value, let's say 34. And then second value, let's say 45. Saya lupa nak buka ni kejap ya. Sorry guys, again. We have this function calling here. Okay. Okay, we run again. Okay, the same thing as previously. So now let's say I want to calculate only one total. So we go inside the while. Okay, the first value is 34. The second value, let's say 45. Okay, now I will call this function. I will call calculate underscore value function by passing value 1 and value 2. Okay. So I will pass 34 because 34 is from while 1. And also I will pass 45 from while 2. I will pass to the calculate the value here. This is the function. Okay, now inside that function, we will calculate total. So total equal to number 1. What is the value for number 1 class? Yes, correct. So number 1, 34. What is the value for number 2?
45.
Yes, correct. So 45. Okay. So now we have our total, which is 79. Okay. Now return total. So means that it will return the total into the caller. Okay. You can see here. We return 79 to the caller. Okay. So this is the caller. So we return 79 here. Okay. And then done. Okay. Okay. Do you understand guys so far?
Boleh Doktor.
Okay. But in this coding, you can see just now 79 is hanging. Okay. 79 is just hanging here without anybody hold it. Okay. And because of that, we are unable to print out that value. So to do that, we can do like this. We can have one variable. When we call this function and pass the value, when they calculate here, when this function return total, we will give to total value. Okay. So that's why we must create one variable that will receive the value that has been returned from this function. Okay, from this function they return the value, and then after that it will be a variable that receive the value. So here we have variable, the variable name is total val equal to call the function. Okay, and then after that you can print that value. Okay, you can print here total value is total val. Okay, I show you this example. Let's debug. Okay, so let's say I just want to calculate one total. Okay, user enter 34. User enter 45 for value 2. Okay, you can okay, focus here. We call the function calculate underscore value, and then we pass val1 and val2. Val1 34, val2 45. We pass to that function. Okay, we pass to this function calculate value. So now inside the function we will calculate total equal to number 1 which is 34 plus number 2 which is 45, and then we will get the total value which is 79. We return the total value 79 to the caller, and then this 79 will be stored in total value. Okay, so it will be stored in the total value, and then we will print this total. So we have now total value is 79. Okay, class, understand? So normally when you pass value, when you call function by passing value, if you decide to return that value, you must have a variable to receive the value. Okay, class, understand? Do you understand, guys?
Understand.
Okay, good. Okay, now we move to the next one. Okay, this one I already explained. Okay, this one. In our original coding, we have this part, right? We have this part. We want to determine that total value inside which category. Is it pass A or pass B or pass C? Okay, now this condition we want to create. We want to determine this condition inside one function. So we will create another function. The function name is determine underscore grade. Okay. So now the first step is we must define that function. Def space determine underscore grade. Okay. So we know that in order for us to determine this category, we need one variable. Okay. The variable is total value. So that's why here in your function definition, you put one variable here, one parameter here, which is total value. Okay. Okay. If you notice, the name here depends on you. It's up to you because this is just variable. So variable name can be anything. Okay. So here I put total value followed by semicolon. When I enter, it will be indented. So the whole statements here are inside my function block. Okay. So here, the whole thing here, if else here, I put in this function. And then my my if else here depends on this value, total value. So that's why I put here total value, total value, total value, total value, total value. Okay. Okay. First step done. Now, after we already define our function, we need to call it. Okay. In our original coding, after we print this total value, we will define here. Okay. So now, after we print the total value, we will call that function. We call that function determine underscore grade, and then we pass this value because we know that in order to determine that total value in which category, we need to have this value. So we pass this value here, and then it will pass to the total value here. Okay? Okay, so let's debug. I have this one, the function here. And then I will call the function determine grade here. Okay. Okay, let me clear this one. Okay. You have to take a look very careful here, okay? Okay, so we have to type two function. Okay, so let's say I just want to calculate one total. So we go inside the while. Okay, and then we ask user to enter value 1, let's say 34. Value 2, 45. Okay. First, I will call the calculate value. So now we know that after we calculate the value, the total, we get total value is 79. Okay. Now we want to call this function to determine the grade for this total value. Okay. So we call the function determine underscore grade and we pass the value total value. Our total value is 79. Okay. We pass to this function determine underscore grade. So it goes to this function. Okay. So now what is the value of total value here? What is the value, guys? What is the value for total value? This one.
79.
Yes, 79. So now we have total value is 79. So it will check as usual. Okay. False. So this is the category true and true. Will be true. So it will print yes, pass with B. And then it will return. Okay. So return to the caller. Done. Settle. Okay. So that's why we have here yes, pass with B. Okay, understand guys? Faham?
Faham, Doctor.
Okay. Now I want to ask you, based on your observation, we have two function. This one and this one. Okay. What is the difference that you notice in these two functions? What is the difference? In terms of coding.
Loop function.
Sorry?
Loop function.
Loop function, no. What is the obvious difference? Tak apa, jawab je. Salah tak apa. Apa guys? Apa kelas?
The second function has the repetition, Doctor.
Second function has repetition means that in if else.
Yeah.
No, the answer is wrong. What else, guys? Try again. Cepat. Salah tak apa. Cepat. Panggil siapa Farid Ismail. Apa?
Function number 2 parameter is dependent on function number 1. Parameter. I mean,
Yang ni. This total value ni dia depends pada total tu lah. Total
Yeah.
ni. Tak. Bukan juga. Cepat kelas. Cepat. Ada lagi. Tadi siapa jawab tadi? There is ni kan. Awak kata ada if else semua kan. Cuba pergi bawah sikit. Cuba tengok dekat mana ada difference.
return.
Return. Okay. Return. Okay class. Can you, do you notice the difference in terms of return? Yang ni we have return and then we have parameter to be returned. Right? This one, there is no parameter to return. But we still use return. Okay, so these two things has difference, has a different meaning. Okay. Nampak tak ni kelas? Betul tak?
Nampak doktor.
Nampak Okay. So, if you want to return some value, okay, for example, in this function calculate value, we know that our output from this function is the total value. So that's why we need to return that parameter. So that's why we need to put return total. Okay. However, in this function, our output is this one. Print pass with A, print pass with B, print pass with C, try again. So there is no value to be passed. Okay. So there is no value to be returned. So that's why we just put return. Okay. So that's the difference in terms of return the output from function. Okay. Understand?
Understand, doctor.
Okay, good. Okay. Okay, if you notice here, in our coding, you can see that we put all our user-defined function, and our main program here. We put in one file. Okay, so this is not a good practice of function techniques. Okay. Function techniques, we know that we want to make our coding in small block, easy to read, reusable. If we put in one file like this, okay, the aim will be not met. So that's why we need to use easy to maintain practice. Okay. Easy to maintain practice means that we will build the function in a separate file, so that you able to manage it easily, you able to read it easily, you able to reuse it in other program as well. Okay. So how to do it? Very easy. Okay. Luckily you learn Python, because Python is very easy to do, easy to maintain practice compared to C. C is very hard to do it. Okay. So in Python there are very easy. The first step is you need to define your user-defined function in one file. For example, here we have calculate value. So now we create one file. We create one file. For example, our file name is calculate.py here. So inside this calculate.py file, we put our function calculate value. Okay. And then we have another function which is this one, right? Which is determine grade. So now we create one file. We name it as grade.py. And then we put our determine grade function inside this file. Okay. And then this part, we call it as a main function. So we rename our file as main function. For example, we rename it cal total underscore main.py. And then after that, you must import that function into this main file. How to import it? Like this. From which file? So the file is calculate, import all. Import all mean here you import all the function inside file calculate. Okay. And then second, you want to import this function determine grade. You know that the determine grade inside file grade file. So you sorry. You import like this. From grade import all. Okay. So means that calculate and grade is your file name. Okay. So inside each file you have the functions that you have defined. Okay. Okay, and then after that you can use it as usual. Okay, macam ni lah. You will use the calculate value and you will use the function for determine grade. Okay. Okay, class. Okay, so inside each file we have this function and also we have this function. Okay. Okay, and also this one you will import the function inside calculate file and you will import function inside grade file. Okay. Okay, and then you can use or you can call that function as before. Okay, as usual. Okay, I show to you this one. Okay, so we have this one. I create one function, I create one file. The file name is calculate.py and then I just put my function here. Function for the calculate value here. I define it here. And then I have another function inside another file. My file is grade.py and I put determine grade function here. Okay, so the aim of we do like this is, let's say we create another program after this, and inside that program we need to calculate the total value as well. So we don't need to redo the same. We don't need to recode the same function. We just copy this file and put into that coding. Okay. Okay, class, understand? So that means we can reuse our function here. Okay. Okay, and then inside my main function, I call as before, like this, and also this one. Okay. Okay, class, understand?
Boleh, Doktor.
Boleh, Doktor.
If before this, I have all the function here, right? Yang macam ni. Before this, I put all the function here. Calculate value, determine grade, and then I have the main here. Now, instead of I put in one file, I have calculate file here for the calculate value function, and I have grade file that consists of determine grade function, and then I import here. I import my user defined function inside the calculate file, and also so instead of we define all our functions in one file like this, we can separate it into each file. Let's say for the calculate value, we can put in our file name calculate.py here, and then for the determine grade, we can put in our grade.py file. Okay, so here after we have these two function in separate file, we must import that function. Okay, how to import it? From what is the name of that file, not what is the name of the function, but the name of the file. Okay, so from calculate import all. All here means that we want to import all the function inside calculate file. So we want to import this function. Okay, and then we have from grade file, import all. So import all means here we want to import this one, determine grade. Okay. Okay, class, understand?
Kena ada star kat ujung ni, Doktor.
Yeah, star means all.
Okay.
Letak je star. Okay. Okay, so this is how we do user-defined function with easy maintenance practice. Easy to maintain practice. Okay? Okay. Boleh kelas? Faham?
Faham.
Okay. So the same thing happen if we debug. Okay. Let's debug. There is no difference. Okay. So let's say now we have import. Okay. So I said, user said they want to calculate only total value. So we go inside the while, 34, 45. And then if we call this function, call calculate underscore value, pass value 1, 34, pass value 2, 45. We go to calculate. So if we go to that function, even though this function is inside another file, it still can call it because you already import it in your main file. Okay. So now we do number 1 plus number 2, 79. We return the total to the caller. We go back to this main file, caller. So 79 we will store in total value. Now we have print that total value. Okay, now we call the determine grade by passing total value, which is 79. And then we go to the determine grade. Okay, again, even though this determine grade is inside another file, we still can call it because we already import it in our main file. Okay. Okay, now we just have the yes pass with P. Okay. Understand, guys?
Kalau file tu kita tak buka, dia tak boleh kira.
File ni kita tak buka.
Tak buka.
Kau tak silap saya, okey je. Boleh je. Kalau tak buka pun.
Okay.
Okay. As long as letak dalam satu folder. Okay. For example, I put in one folder. The whole, except yang ni lah. Jangan tengok yang ni. Okay. You can see here, I put inside one folder. Calculate total main, grade and calculate PY. Okay. So you must put inside one folder. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay guys. Yang lain-lain okay.
Okay, Doktor.
Okay, good. So a little bit recap. So step to do user defined function. We need to define a function using function format. Second, we need to call it. If we are not calling that function, so that function will be not functioning. Okay. And then after that, step to do user defined function for easy maintenance. First, you need to define function using function format in a file. Okay, in a separate file. And then second, you must import the file in the main file. Okay. And then you must call the function as well. Okay. So that's two things that you need to do in user defined function. Okay. So that's all. Tak boleh minum kopi. Tak boleh minum air. Tekak dah kering. Okay. Now, I want you to do your exercise. Okay. This exercise that if you still remember, you want to calculate volume for cylinder and volume for cone. Okay, now, based on the original coding in previous exercise, I want you to enhance the program by using user function techniques that will ease the maintenance process. Okay, means that you must apply the easy maintenance practice too. Okay, so how to do it? For this one, volume CY, to calculate volume for cylinder, I want you to do it in one function. The function name is volume underscore cylinder. And then to calculate volume cone, I want you to create one function. The function name is volume underscore cone. And you calculate that volume for cone inside this function. And then this part that you want to determine which one is bigger, okay, cylinder or cone. You create one function. The name is compare underscore volume. And you do this one. Okay? Okay, class? So, how many functions that you must define or you must create? How many functions?
3.
3 functions. And then how many files that you must have for this exercise?
2.
No. How many files? How many files? Function, you will create 3 functions. Okay, 3 user-defined functions. Okay, you will create 3 user-defined functions. Volume cylinder, volume cone, and compare volume. Okay, now how many files that you need to have in this coding, in this program?
1.
1.
File.
3.
Satu lagi.
4.
Ya. Ha, 4 lah. 4. There are 4 files. 1 file for main, yang ini kan, main. Second file for this one. Third file for this one. Fourth file for this one. Betul tak, kelas?
Boleh doktor.
Okay. Sila buat. Okay. Next exercise yang robot arm. Okay, robot arm also, this part that you will calculate the X and Y. You will determine the X and Y coordinate. So this one, I want you to create a function name determine underscore coor to determine the coordinate for the robot arm. So you will do this determine ni inside this function. Okay, to determine that coordinate in which part, okay, in which part, this one, you will create a function name determine underscore location and you will put this one inside this function. Okay, okay. So how many user-defined functions that you need to define or create? How many? Cepat kelas sebelum lost connection lagi. How many?
3.
User-defined function dulu. How many?
2.
2. 1,
3.
2. Okay. And how many file?
3.
3. Main file that consists of ni, benda-benda ni kan. And then file for this one, file for this one. Okay. Boleh kelas?
Boleh.
Okay.
Boleh.
Okay, so I want you to do it. These 2 exercise volume and also exercise for robot arm, and you must do it within this 1 hour. Submit into the Padlet, okay, and then we will discuss it on Thursday. Okay, class?
Okay, doktor.
Okay, you have to do it now. Okay, otherwise you will forget. You will forget everything. Okay, so you have to do it now. Please refer to my nota and to my notes and also to my video. Okay, saya sakit tekak sangat dah rasa. Okay, kelas, boleh?